Good morning children. We are going to discuss the third chapter acids, bases and salts from 10th class physics. Children, in previous classes we discussed about what is called pH and how the pH is important to our day-to-day life. Okay, and we discussed about family of salts and their formulas. Okay, we discussed about different types of families of the salts and their category and their formulas. Okay, now we are going to discuss about some activity 15. Okay, now we are going to discuss about activity 15, that is what pH of salts. Okay, that is what pH of salts. pH of salts. Okay, children, already I told you what is called pH, the power of hydrogen. Okay, what is called salt? Acid reacts with base to form a salt. Okay, this is called neutralization reaction. Children, in the previous class, means in the activity 14, we discussed about different types of salts are present in our nature. Okay, so we discussed about sodium family of salts, potassium family of salts, chloride family of salts, okay, carbonate family, nitrate family, etc. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the pH of these salts. Okay, pH of these salts. Children, first you collect some samples like sodium chloride. Okay, to this activity, first you collect some samples like sodium chloride. Okay, what is the formula of sodium chloride? NaCl. Okay, NaCl. And the second chemical is, okay, the second chemical is aluminium chloride. Okay, what is the second chemical? Aluminium chloride. Aluminium chloride. Okay, what is the formula of aluminium chloride? AlCl3. Okay, AlCl3. Next chemical, copper sulfate. Next chemical is what? Copper sulfate. What is the formula of copper sulfate? CuSO4. Okay, Cu means copper, SO4 means sulfate. Copper sulfate. Okay, next one, sodium acetate. Okay, what is the next chemical? Sodium acetate. Okay, what is the formula of sodium acetate? That is, okay, what is the formula of sodium acetate? That is CH3COONA. Note down these formulas. CH3COONA. Next one, ammonium chloride. Okay, next one is what? Ammonium chloride. What is the formula of ammonium chloride? Already you know about that. What is the formula of ammonium chloride? NH4Cl. Okay, NH4Cl. Next one, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, what is the next chemical? Sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, what is the formula of this? NaHCO3. Okay, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, next one, next chemical is sodium carbonate. Only sodium carbonate. What is the formula of sodium carbonate? Na2CO3. Okay, what is the formula of sodium carbonate? Na2CO3. Okay, so for activity 15, okay, what we are discussing? Activity 15. Okay, what is activity 15, Nana? Very simple. We collect some chemicals from laboratory. Okay, what are the chemicals? First, sodium chloride. The formula is NaCl. Next one, aluminium chloride. The formula is AlCl3. Next, third one, copper sulfate. The Okay, next, okay, first you collect this all samples from the laboratory, then you take a beaker. Okay, first you take a beaker, then add one by one salts here. Okay, then you add one by one salts or samples what we taken in the activity 15. Okay, then you add one by one. Okay, then add distilled water. Okay, to every sample you add distilled water. Children, do you know distilled water? It does not contain any impurities. It is a pure water. It does not contain any salts, minerals and nutrients. Okay, it is a pure water. That's why we are using in the laboratory. Okay, so first you take a beaker, you take salts and add some distilled water in the beaker. Then what happens now? For example, now here I am taking the first salt, that is sodium chloride. Okay, first I am taking a salt, that is sodium chloride. Okay, first you take a beaker, take few grams of sodium chloride in the beaker, then add distilled water to this sodium chloride sample. Children, what you will observe? The sodium chloride salt which is completely dissolved in the water. Okay, the sodium chloride salt which is completely dissolved in the water to form a sodium chloride solution. Okay, to form a sodium chloride solution. Now you test this salt. Okay, now you test this sodium chloride solution. Now you test this sodium chloride solution whether it is acidic in nature or basic in nature or neutral in nature. Okay, neutral in nature. So which type of nature? This sodium chloride salt. Then you test by using litmus paper. Okay, test by using litmus paper or pH scale. Okay, how you will test now? Whether the given sample is a acid or base. How we will test? By using litmus paper or pH scale. Okay, so what is about litmus paper? We know that already. If red color litmus paper turns to blue in color, okay, if red color litmus paper turns to blue in color, that is a base. Okay, that is a base. Next, if blue color litmus paper turns to red in color, okay, that is a acid. That is a acid. Okay, if no color change, if no color change is takes place, that is called neutral solution. Okay, already sir told you, but once again I am repeating. Okay, for yourself, children. In litmus paper, how you will observe it is a acid or base or neutral solution. Very simple. You take a red litmus paper. If it turns to blue in color, the solution is a basic solution. Already I told you, basic means what? OH minus ions are present more in the solution. Okay, next second one, if the blue color litmus paper turns to red in color, that is acidic solution. Okay, acid means more H plus ions are present. Okay, if there is no color change in the litmus paper, means blue color litmus paper which turns to blue in color, red color litmus paper which turns to red in color, means that is neutral solution. Okay, you take a litmus paper, dip into the sodium chloride solution. Already we know that sodium chloride is what, Nana? Salt. Okay, salts are belongs to, okay, salts are belongs to what? Neutral. Okay, salts are belongs to neutral. Okay, understand? So you take sodium chloride solution, then you take one litmus paper. Okay, dip dip the litmus paper in the sodium chloride solution, then what happens? The litmus paper does not change their color, okay, because the salt is a neutral in nature. So from this topic, what you understand? Sodium chloride solution is a neutral solution. Children, are you understand? Sodium chloride solution is a neutral solution. Okay, is a neutral solution. Okay, then it is confirmed. If you want to test this sodium chloride solution by using pH scale, okay, one more important thing, pH scale also is useful to determine whether the given solution is an acid or base or a neutral. Then how you know by using pH scale? Already told you, if the pH scale shows reading from 0 to 6.9, that is a acid. Okay, if the pH scale shows the reading exactly 7, that is a neutral solution. Okay, that is a neutral solution. If the pH scale shows the reading in between 7.1 to 14, that is a basic solution. Okay, that is a base solution. Then you take a few drops of sodium chloride solution and test the nature of the sodium chloride solution by using pH scale. Okay, the sodium chloride solution is a neutral in nature, you know. Then what is the level of the pH scale? That is exactly 7. Okay, that is exactly 7. Okay, children, are you understand? Only I told about first chemical. Okay, remaining what you have chemicals here: aluminium chloride, copper sulfate, sodium acetate, ammonium chloride, sodium hydrogen carbonate and sodium carbonate. Okay, test these all samples by using pH paper and litmus paper. Okay, then you write in the table. Okay, then you write in the table. Okay, first you write name of the salt, what is the pH value, whether the solution is acidic in nature, then you tick here. Okay, whether it is basic in nature, you tick here. Whether it is neutral in nature, you have to tick here. Okay, from this topic what you understand? The salts are belongs to only neutral solution and the pH value is 7. Okay, now so we know that every salt, okay, so every salt pH value is exactly 7 and the litmus paper does not change their color in the presence of salt. Okay, why? Because it is a neutral. Okay, salts are neutral in nature. Okay, children, I told one example. Remaining all examples you do at your home by collecting litmus paper or pH scale from the outside markets or laboratory. Okay, this is your homework today. Okay, children, understand? Collect the litmus paper or pH scale from nearby market or medical shops. Okay, then you test this all salts. Okay, whether it is acidic or basic or neutral in nature, then you fill in the table. Okay, this homework you do, Nana. Next topic we are going to discuss about what is the pH of the salt. Okay, first I am saying very important this one. Okay, so if the strong acid, children, if the strong acid reacts with strong base, okay, the strong acid reacts with strong base, okay, it gives what? Neutral solution. Okay, it gives a neutral solution. Children, what is the neutral solution of pH value? That is exactly 7. Okay, then litmus paper does not change their color. Okay, litmus paper does not change their color. Okay, litmus paper does not change their color. Okay, this is the what is the first thing? If the strong acid reacts with strong base, okay, it forms neutral solution. Okay, tell me what is the strong acid? What is the strong acid, Nana? HCl. What is the strong base? NaOH. Okay, when the strong acid reacts with strong base to form neutral solution. Okay, what is the solution here? NaCl. Okay, I am writing here H plus Cl minus, Na plus OH minus. Okay, so this Na plus reacts with Cl minus, this H plus reacts with OH minus. Okay, so it forms what? Na plus Cl minus, NaCl, OH plus H, that is H2O. Okay, that is what? H2O. So HCl is a strong acid. It reacts with NaOH. NaOH means what, Nana? Strong base. Okay, when the strong acid reacts with strong base, okay, NaCl is nothing but what? Salt. Okay, NaCl is nothing but what? Salt. Salts are what in nature? Neutral in nature. Okay, the salts are neutral in nature. Okay, then it forms water molecule. Okay, it forms water molecule. Already I told you, when the strong acid reacts with strong base to form salt and water. Okay, this reaction is called what, Nana? Neutralization reaction. Okay, this reaction is called neutralization reaction. Okay, neutralization reaction. Okay, this is about what? The first thing, very important to you. Okay, when the strong acid reacts with strong base to form a neutral solution. Okay, for neutral solution, the pH value is exactly 7. Okay, in this case, the litmus paper does not change their color. Okay, I am giving example here. Okay, strong acid is HCl, strong base is NaOH. Okay, both reacts with each other to form NaCl. That is a salt. Then it exhibits water molecule. Okay, so finally what you observed? When the strong acid reacts with strong base to form a neutral solution along with water molecule. Okay, so this type of reactions are called what? Neutralization reactions. Okay, this type of reactions are called as neutralization reactions. Okay. Children, the next one, when the strong acid, please listen carefully, when the strong acid reacts with weak base, okay, strong acid reacts with weak base to form acidic solution. Okay, children, to form what? Acidic solution. So, what is the pH value for acidic solution? Below 7. Okay, below 7. Then what is the change we can observe in the litmus paper? Acidic means the blue color litmus paper turns to red in color. Okay, the blue color litmus paper turns to red in color. It is an acidic solution. For acidic solutions, the pH value is below 7. Okay, children, what is the second one? When the strong acid reacts with weak base to form a acidic solution. Okay, so for acidic solution, the pH value is below 7. Then litmus paper, the blue color litmus paper turns to red in color. Okay, red in color. Next to strong base. Next to when the strong base reacts with weak acid. Okay, when the strong base reacts with weak acid, okay, it forms basic solution. It forms basic solution. Okay, what is the pH value of basic solution? Above 7. Okay, above 7. Then what happens above 7? Okay, when weak acid reacts with weak base, okay, when the weak acid reacts with weak base, okay, what it will form, Nana? It is depending upon pH value. Okay, it is depending upon pH value of the solution. Okay, children, very important to you. When the strong acid reacts with weak base to form acidic solution, okay, the pH value is below 7, then blue color litmus paper turns to red in color. Okay, third one, when strong base reacts with weak acid, it forms basic solution. For basic solution, pH value is above 7. Then the red color litmus paper turns to blue in color. Okay, when the weak acid reacts with weak base, okay, it forms different type of solution. Okay, that solution we can determine by using pH value. Okay, this is about what today's class. Okay, hope you understand this video. Okay, what is your homework? What I told, collect litmus paper from medical shop and test the given sample in the litmus paper. Okay, then you fill the table whether it is acidic or basic or neutral solution. If litmus paper is not available, you collect pH scale and you test these samples under pH scale. Then you know the solutions are acidic or basic or neutral in nature. Okay, next you read about these 4 points. Okay, so if the strong acid reacts with strong base, what will happen? If weak strong acid reacts with weak base, what will happen? If strong base reacts with weak acid, what will happen? If weak acid reacts with weak base, what will happen? What is the pH value and what is the nature of the litmus paper? Okay, this is very important class to you. It is continuous in intermediate level also. Okay, hope you understand this video. Don't skip the video, watch full video, then you will understand the subject. Okay, thank you. Very good morning, children. We are going to discuss the third chapter, transportation, from 10th class biology. Children, in previous classes already we discussed about what is called transportation. Tell me, Nana, what is called transportation? If the food, water, mineral particles, nutrients and the blood which is flowing from one place to another place in the body, that is called a transportation system. Okay, children, not only blood and nutrients, once you see in your surroundings, the air which is moving from one place to another place and the water and the particles present in the water which is moving from one place to another place, which is belongs to transportation. Okay, what is the which organ perform this transportation process? Heart. Okay, already we discussed in the previous classes how the heart is pumping the blood from one place to another place in the human body. Children, in this class we are going to discuss about how the transportation process which takes place in unicellular and multicellular organisms. Children, in previous class already we discussed about what are called unicellular and what are called multicellular organisms. Tell me, what are called unicellular organisms? Which organisms are made up of only single cell? The organisms are called unicellular organisms. Example, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Okay, which organisms contain more than one cell in their body? The organisms are called multicellular organisms. Example, higher plants, animals and human beings. Children, do you know what is the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms? Everything is different. Okay, so the digestion process which is different in the unicellular and multicellular organisms, excretion process also different, reproduction process is different, and transportation process is also different. So some topics we already learned from previous classes and some topics we will learn in the upcoming classes, means in the later classes. Okay, so children, now you understood what are called unicellular and what are called multicellular organisms. So in the first chapter already we discussed about how the digestion process which takes place in in the unicellular and multicellular organisms. Children, unicellular organisms like amoeba and protozoa are obtaining food from surroundings through the false feed, that is called pseudopodia. Okay, with the help of pseudopodia, the amoeba organism which is absorbing the food from outside and which excrete the waste materials into the surroundings. Okay, so like amoeba, euglena also contain small finger-like projections that are called cilia. Okay, through the cilia, the euglena which absorb the food material and which excrete the food materials into outside of the body. Okay, so what happens Nana? In the unicellular organisms, some special parts are present to perform digestion, excretion, reproduction processes. But in the multicellular organisms like higher plants, higher animals and in the human beings, some specialized organs are present to perform digestion, excretion, reproduction and respiration process. This all we discussed in the previous classes. Today our topic is what? How the transportation process which is takes place in the unicellular organisms. Already we discussed how the transportation process which is takes place in the multicellular organisms. Okay, so what are the organs are involved in the multicellular organism? Heart. Children, do you know heart which is present slightly left side in between the kidneys in our human body? Okay, the heart which is transporting blood from one place to another place. Okay, the blood always flows in the blood vessels. Okay, so children, now we are going to discuss about how the transportation process which is takes place in the unicellular organisms. Okay, coming to our topic. What is our topic Nana? Evolution of the transport system. Evolution means what Nana? Changes. Okay, evolution, changes means, for example, the small baby which is travel on the land, but the adult human being which is walking on the ground. Means what happens here? The evolution, changes, developments are takes place in the process that is called evolution. Okay, evolution of transportation system. How the transportation system which is takes place in the unicellular organisms. Children, tell me what are the examples of unicellular organisms? For example, amoeba and paramecium. Children, we know that the unicellular organisms are present in the water. Okay, amoeba lives only in the fresh water. Okay, the unicellular organisms are present in the water. Okay, so for example, normal water do not contain salts. Okay, but ocean water contains salts. So in the ocean water, the unicellular organisms completing some different types of the life processes. For example, with the help of ions. Okay, but in the normal water, how the unicellular organisms performing different types of the life functions. Okay, so in the normal water, when the unicellular organisms are living in the normal water, they are modifying their body parts according to their normal water. Okay, in the normal water, they are modifying their body parts and they are converting the normal water into ions. Means they are creating current. They are creating some power in the normal water and they are doing some different types of the life functions. Okay, by modifying their body parts. In this chapter we are discussing Nana. So the unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium which contain a outer membrane that is called protoplasm. Children, what is the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm? The cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance which is present inside of the cell. Okay, the cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance which is present inside of the cell. But what is called protoplasm? The protoplasm is a outer membrane. Children, are you understand? The protoplasm is a outer membrane which is present in the unicellular unicellular organisms contain protoplasm is a outer membrane. With the help of protoplasm, the nutrients and oxygen. Okay, what is the function of protoplasm? The protoplasm absorb the nutrients and oxygen into the unicellular organisms and which remove the waste materials from the unicellular organisms. Okay, so the protoplasm shows some movements, means the protoplasm absorb the nutrients and oxygen inside of the cell and excrete the waste materials to outside of the cell. Okay, so here the protoplasm shows some movements. Okay, this movement is called a Brownian movement. Very important one mark question. What is called a Brownian movement? Okay, in some unicellular organisms, the protoplasm shows some movements. Means the protoplasm which is responsible to absorb the nutrients and oxygen into the cell and which remove the waste materials outside from the cell. That's why here the protoplasm shows some movement. The movement is called a Brownian movement. Okay, unicellular organism shows Brownian movement. Okay, next one, intracellular. Children, do you know what is the difference between intra and inter? Intra means within the cell. Okay, so intra means what, Nana? Within the cell. Okay, within the cell means inside of this cell. Okay, what is called inter? What is called inter? Outside of the cell. Okay, what is called inter? Outside of the cell. Okay, intra means inside of the cell. Okay, inter means outside of the cell. See Nana here, the intracellular. Okay, the intracellular activity which we can observe both in the unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay, so many unicellular and multicellular organisms carry transportation process in the intracellular organisms. Intra means what? Within the cells. Children, are you understand? Inside of the cell only the transportation process which takes place in the unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay, so already we know that the unicellular organisms contain protoplasm. Okay, not only unicellular, some multicellular organisms also contain protoplasm. Okay, this protoplasm which is responsible for mobile. Mobile means what, Nana? Movement. Okay, mobile and protoplasmic current. Okay, mobile and protoplasmic current means the protoplasm which is responsible for movement and to create power in the organisms. With the help of this power and mobile, the organisms are swimming or the organisms are moving from one place to another place in the water. Okay, that's why they can live and they can perform all the life processes with the help of protoplasm. Okay, children, understand? What is the second point? Most of the unicellular and multicellular organisms contain protoplasm. The protoplasm which is responsible for movement and to create the power in the organisms. Then the organisms are freely moving or freely swimming in the water. Okay, what is the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm? The cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance which is present inside of the cell. Okay, but the protoplasm is a thin membrane-like structure. Okay, outer membrane-like structure which is present in the both unicellular and multicellular organisms, which is responsible for movement. Okay, which is responsible for movement in the both uni and multicellular organisms. Okay, next to 4 marks, very important question to your SSC final exam point of view, that is explain the transportation system in different types of organisms. Okay children, what is your very important SSC level final exam question? Explain the transportation system in different types of organisms. Okay, very important. The first salt. Okay, so what is the formula of salt? NaCl, sodium chloride. Okay, the sodium chloride which contain sodium contain positive ions, chlorine contain negative ions. Positive means cathode, negative means anode. Okay, so the positive and negative ions are present in the sodium chloride. It's nothing but salt. Okay, the ocean water which is salty in nature means the ions are present in the ocean water which create current. Okay, so for example, some sponges are living in the normal water. Then how they will create the power? By beating flagella. Okay, the sponges contain flagella, is a wine-like structures. Okay, now so wings-like structures are present in the sponges, that is called flagella. Okay, when the flagellas are living in the normal water, by beating their wings or flagella, they can produce current. Okay, they can produce current, and by using this current they can move from one place to another place in the water. Okay, next the second one is cyntharians. Okay, now the second one is what? Cyntharians. What are the examples of cyntharians? Hydra and jellyfish. Okay children, hydra and jellyfish are the examples of cyntharians. Okay, the cyntharians contain a special cavity that is called gastrovascular cavity. Okay, the cyntharians contain a special cavity that is called gastrovascular cavity. This cavity is responsible for digestion and transportation of materials. Children, are you understand? Very important, Nana. Okay, so the cyntharians, example hydra and jellyfish, which contain a special cavity in them. They are called gastrovascular cavity. This cavity is responsible for digestion of the food and the transportation of the materials from one place to another place in the body. Okay, next the third one is platyhelminthes. Very very important. The platyhelminthes example Fascicola hepatica. Okay, what is the example of platyhelminthes? Fascicola hepatica. Okay, so this organism contain a special and highly branched digestion system. Okay, in this organism the digestion system which is very special because it contain many branches. Okay, many branches. This organism excrete waste materials through the excretory system. Okay, this organism release the waste materials through the excretory system, and this organism absorb the waste materials from the excretory system. Children, are you understand what is the special character in a platyhelminthes? For example, Fascicola hepatica. This organism taking food from outside through the excretory system, and which release the waste materials also through the excretory system. Then what is the function of digestion system? This type of organisms contain a very highly and branched like digestion system. Okay, the digestion system which contain very highly and branched system. Okay, now next the fourth one is the Nemathelminthes. Okay, what is the fourth one, Nana? Nemathelminthes. Okay, what is the example? Roundworm. Okay, roundworms are belongs to this category. Okay, in this roundworm, what is the special organ? Pseudocilium. Okay, the pseudocilium is the special organ which is responsible for collection and distribution of materials. Okay, this organ which collect the materials and which distribute the materials from one place to another place in the body. Okay, next to fifth one, annelids. What is the example? Eucolocomate. Okay, Eucolocomate is the example. This organism contain a special structure that is called pulsatile organ. Okay, these organisms are made up of a special organ that is pulsatile organ. This pulsatile organ is responsible to pumping the blood transporting the blood into the heart. Okay, so up to now what we discussed, Nana, the special organs which are present in the unicellular organisms to carry different types of the functions. Okay, so in this what we discussed, the first one, protozoa, example sponges. Okay, the sponges when they live in normal water, by breathing flagella they can create power. By using this power they can move from one place to another place. Okay, the second one is the cnidarians, example hydra and jellyfish, okay, which contain a special organ that is called gastrovascular cavity, which is responsible for digestion and transportation of material. The third one is the platyhelminthes, example Fascicola hepatica, which contain a very specialized digestion system and the taking food and releasing waste materials takes place with the help of only excretory system. Okay, fourth one, roundworm, which contains special organ that is pseudocilium, which is responsible for collection and distribution of material, and then its pulsatile organ is responsible to pump the blood into the heart. Okay, so this is about the different special organs which are present to carry transportation process in the different types of unicellular organisms. Next, one more very important topic, the 2 marks question, what is called the open circulatory system, then what is called closed circulatory system, give example. Children, already we know that our blood which is flowing in the blood vessels. Okay, in the blood what is present, Nana? Water, fluids, nutrients, hormones, vitamins, everything is present. Okay, so the nutrients are very essential to our body. Okay, now, so if the nutrients are transported in the tissues, okay, if the tissues are responsible to transport nutrients from one place to another place, such a type of system is called open circulatory system. For example, arthropods, many mollusca and lower choroids. Okay, so if the nutrients are transporting through the blood, children, we know that the blood which is flowing only in the blood vessels. Okay, if the blood transporting nutrients only in the blood vessels, such a type of system is called a closed circulatory system. For example, annelids, octopus and higher chordates. Children, now you understand what is called the open circulatory system. If the tissues are responsible to transport nutrients, okay, if the nutrients are transported in the tissues, that is called the open circulatory system. Okay, if the nutrients are transported in the blood through the blood vessels, that is called the closed circulatory system. Open circulatory system example, arthropod, many mollusca, lower chordates. Closed circulatory system example, annelida, octopus, higher chordate, etc. Children, do you know one GK question? So our heart is pumping blood. Okay, 1 ml of the blood from heart to feet and back from feet to heart, which is takes place, means nearly 2 meters. Okay, nearly 2 meters. 1 ml of the blood which is flowing from heart to feet and back from feet to heart, nearly 2 meters, which is transporting in our body is takes place only 60 seconds. But in the tissues, if the materials are transported from one place to another place, means for example in the tissues, the materials are transported from heart to feet and back from feet to heart, it takes place more than 60 years of time. From this topic, what you understand, Nana? The blood vessels flows blood and nutrients very faster from one place to another place, which takes place in the closed circulatory system. Means we are higher animals. That's why the closed circulatory system is correct for us. But in the unicellular organisms is very small. Only we can see with the help of microscope. So they don't have blood vessels. That's why the tissues are responsible to transport nutrients from one place to another place in the the body. Okay, this is about what? Today's our topic, evaluation of the transportation system. From this overall topic, what you understand? Unicellular organisms contain different organs to perform transportation process. Multicellular organisms contain different organs to carry transportation process. Okay, this is your topic. Children, what is your homework today? Read about the transportation system which is present in the unicellular organisms. We discussed different types of organs are useful in the transportation process. Okay, read about the different types of organs, how it is useful to transport materials from one place to another place in the unicellular organisms. Okay, this is very important 4 marks question for your final exam point of view. Understand? Children, hope you understand this video. Thank you.